Wow, can you believe it? Episode 200 of my podcast. That's fantastic, I think. I've got to say, I'm very proud of the fact that we've now done 200 episodes. And we've got over 5,000 downloads, which, again, is pretty amazing. So we've got a load of people involved in this podcast, listening to it and benefiting from it. That was the purpose of it. I wanted to really do two things. One, I wanted to help people. That was my number one aim in setting up this podcast, to try to do my best to end the fact or reduce the fact that 80% of businesses that start every year go bust within 5 years. And if you think about the number one reason that they do that, it's lack of sales. Despite what any accountant says about cash flow or anything else, if you're making enough money, then you can sort the cash flow out. You can pay somebody to sit there and spend all day sorting the cash flow out, getting paid, chasing invoices and so on and so forth. But if you haven't got enough money in your business because you can't create enough sales, then you've got a problem. You can't even afford to do that, and you've certainly not got enough time to do it yourself. So that's what the podcast's all about. And from my point of view, my second reason for doing it is just to demonstrate my expertise. It's very difficult, I believe, for any business owner to say, right, I want to work with this business advisor or that marketing consultant, because it's not like tangible, is it? You can't see it. You can see a car, you can have a look at it and see that you like the look of it, and or a new kettle or something physical you can see, but you can't see advice. All you can see is I suppose things like how long the person's been around. I've been around 25 years now. You can see things like case studies and examples of what they've done in the past. And you can certainly see that on my website, or ask me for a copy of a document we call Don't Take Our Word for It, which contains, I think at the moment, it's just over 150 testimonials and case studies all about the work that I've done and how I've helped other people. So there's pretty much a load of evidence there to say that, I do know what I'm doing and I can get results. Throughout my career, I've worked with many different businesses in many different industries. I think over 1,000 businesses. And if you include all the training that I've done, it's probably way over 10,000 different businesses. And certainly in hundreds and hundreds of different industries. But the great thing about marketing is, even with the changes that have gone on in the last 25 years, the fundamentals are the same. Have a great headline, attention-grabbing headline. That's really, one of the biggest mistakes I see right now is really poor headlines. Headlines like our services on a website. Give me a break. If you can't come up with something more interesting than what we do or about us, then the world and your world's probably not growing to the level it could. Let's just leave it like that. So that's really what I'm all about. And it's not just about improving headlines, obviously, but it's about what I think I do, what I bring to the party, what I could bring to you is my knowledge of how to turn marketing that doesn't work into marketing that does. Because the truth of the matter is, and I say this based on over 25 years, quarter of a century, in thousands of businesses, hundreds of industries, fundamentally, it's not that you're doing the wrong marketing. It's that you're doing the right marketing, but you're doing it in the wrong way. Now, it doesn't mean you've got it totally wrong. It could be just a little thing, a little tweak. Let me give you a really, really good example. You take something like LinkedIn. 99% of the businesses that I speak to are doing LinkedIn the wrong way. Let me give you an example. People say to me, well, I'm on LinkedIn, but I don't really do very much. That's the wrong thing to do. That's like saying, if I was big and fat and obese, I'd say, well, I'm a member of a gym, but I don't ever go there. It's like, being a member of a gym ain't going to help you until and unless you start lifting those weights and getting on that bloody treadmill. You've got to take action, and that's the real key. Or I also hear, well, I'm on LinkedIn, Steve, and I post every day, but I don't ever seem to win any business. I can tell you now, posting on LinkedIn ain't going to win your business, and it ain't going to win your business on Facebook, and it ain't going to win your business on Twitter. It's a fallacy. What I've just said is not totally true, because it might do. It might do. I win a little bit of business by posting things, and you might too. So I'm not saying, it won't, but what I am saying is it's by far not the best way. It's not the best way of winning business on social media, and or indeed on LinkedIn, if you group that as like separate to social media, which I tend to actually. I think it's more like networking than social media. So, if you were turning up at the Chamber of Commerce, firstly, you've got to turn up. You've got to be there on a regular basis. You've got to speak to people that you know and communicate with them on a regular basis. Ideally, you probably want to see them. You don't just want to, turn up virtually or by sending them an email. You need to talk to them on the phone, or physically go and meet them somewhere for, even if it's just for a coffee or in a business meeting or at an exhibition. Invite them to an exhibition, and then you want to go up to some new people. You want to develop your relationships with them. And again, the same thing applies. So often on LinkedIn, this is a great one, people ask me to connect. And then if it wasn't for me, that would be the last time I would ever speak to that person for the rest of their lives. And, that just amazes me. Why would you connect to somebody and then totally and utterly ignore them? That's like me going up to somebody at a Chamber of Commerce going, oh, hi, my name's Steve Mills. They go, oh, nice to meet you, Steve. Yeah, nice to meet you. Bye. And just walking away. You clearly wouldn't do that. And yet people do it every day on LinkedIn. So, that's really the message of this, the 200th podcast that I've done. Try to make sure that whatever you do it and you get a return on investment, because it almost doesn't matter what marketing you do. You could do LinkedIn, you could do Facebook, you could do Twitter, you could do email, you could do pay-per-click advertising on Google or the other search engines, you could do SEO, you could do networking, you could do referral marketing, and, how many other of the hundreds of different things that you could do. And the truth of the matter is, they all work, all of them. They just don't work all the time, and often it's just that little thing. It's like the difference between, in athletics, you got Usain Bolt, or you did have, but I think he's retired now. But, the difference between him and fourth, in the Olympics, he won the Olympics, he won multiple gold medals, he got the, whatever it was, £1 million Nike contracts, became famous all over the world, worshipped by people in all sorts of countries and all sorts of backgrounds, a real, legend in sport. And yet he was something like I'm making these figures up now, 0.6 seconds faster than the guy who finished fourth. Now, I don't know whether that's exactly accurate, but it ain't far out. My point being, he was just a little bit better. He did things a little bit better. He trained a little bit better. If I asked you, how much training have you done in marketing in the last year? Because marketing's changed a hell of a lot in the last year. This new world we're all living, for one thing, not to mention some of the technological advancements that people like Google have made. how much training have you done in sales? I was talking to a client the other day who told me that they said they were really good at selling. They said just needed help with marketing. I said, oh, right. So what percentage of leads do you close? They said, well, it's around about 20%. So I said, well, I think you need help with sales. I said, tell me, how much sales training have you ever done? They said, well, I've never done any. I said, well, what about a system? Do you have a process? No, we just make it up as we go along. But we're good at selling. We're good at selling, and you're selling 2 out of every 10. I said to them, if you could increase that by 20% to 4 out of 10 instead of 2 out of 10, you double the size of your business. Yeah, and they looked at me and sort of thought, maybe there's something to think about here. So, if you're not investing in yourself, if you run a business and you're not investing in yourself, what are your chances of growth? And for me, unless you're lucky or in the right place, if you sold hand sanitizer a year ago, you've probably had a really good year, but you were lucky. Not that you were lucky that you took advantage of the coronavirus. It was just that you were lucky that all of a sudden your product was, literally bought by everybody in the country. Instead of just a handful of people. So, if you're going to make your own luck, you need to become better at selling and marketing your products and services. And that's really all I've got to say in this particular podcast. Other than, I'd love to help you. I really would. I spend my time helping people. My mission, the thing that drives me, is all about trying to help businesses to become more successful. So if you want to become more successful, just take the first step with me. Book a free meeting. This is not a sales pitch. I'm not going to push any products on you. All I'm going to do is, again, demonstrate my expertise to you. Basically prove I can help you by actually helping you. So at the end of the meeting, you'll come away having got some great ideas to market your business or to improve the marketing that you're already doing. And then, if you say to me, do you know what, Steve, I really would like some more help, then I'll talk to you about what we can do. And I think that's pretty fair. So if you want to book a meeting, just go to steve-mills, mills.com, steve-mills.com. If you click on one of the orange buttons, or gold buttons actually, as we've just changed them, you can sign up for a free online Zoom meeting. Lasts about half an hour normally. And I look forward to speaking to you then. So thank you very much for listening, and looking forward to the next 200 episodes of my Results podcast. Thank you very much.